Hello everyone, my name is Russ with Polish Iron Grips, and I am the designer and manufacturer of the aftermarket grips for the Polish P64 pistol that we all love, don't we? Okay, my basic contact information, email is polishiron68@gmail.com. I will have a website up and running here in the next couple of days. And today is 9/15/17, so you'll be able to reference that. Alright, this is intended to be an instructional video for the installation of my new V05BT grip for the P64 pistol, and here's the grip. And obviously you can tell it's has a beaver tail detail installed. I redid all the checkering, widened it, deepened it. It's nice and sharp and dense, 18 lines per inch, and it gives you a nice tactical feel and very, very grippy. So let's get started. This is the way we usually are introduced to this little pistol. Here's the OEM grip panels. I already took the screw out. Let's go ahead and take those guys off. I'm going to be working with these panels a little bit later, so I'm going to keep them close by because I'm going to be referencing some of the inside geometry that's important to the installation of my grip, and you won't be able to see inside it to know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be working with up to 3 pistols, I think, in this video. So this is a 1968. Not that that has any relevance anymore, because the new grip panel conforms to any model year of P64. I don't have to worry about this funky transition down here anymore. It just covers it up. And so let's make sure these are all empty. I even took the recoil spring out to make it easier to handle. It's on the 68. Here's a 1970, and this is a recent acquisition. This has not been fired ever, and it's one of 2 of my 5 that's never been fired. And I just don't intend to fire them right now, but I got all my pistols to shoot, and I eventually will. So, and also they're set up a little different. It's got nothing to do with the year, but this one has the as supplied OEM mag release lever, and this is my overmolded version, extended mag release. And so you'll see how the new V05BT grip conforms to either one. So here we go. We'll start with the OEM version. Now, normally we think it's a slide on from the bottom, and our first inclination is to just shove it straight up. Not so. Okay, there's a lot of overlapping geometry in here because I've exactly duplicated all this locking geometry inside, everything that locks around the frame components and inside and outside of the frame components. I deleted some of these nonsensical pin geometry. That was for their tooling purposes only, and also the relief area I kept in for the trigger bar assembly. And so the way we install this is, I'll try to work upside down the best I can, because normally I would work this way. So we come in at about a 45-degree angle, and immediately we're going to get some interference. So we want to kind of squeeze it like this to pooch it out just a little bit. Okay, just to pooch it out, open it up, and it'll immediately want to enter. So we're going to continue pushing it up, and you're going to get the next bit of interference right here. Okay, not a problem. Shove it around the bottom part of the frame. It flexes. It's not going to tear. Don't worry about it. It's tough material. We're going to push it up a little farther, and you can do this all in one motion essentially later on when you get it. I'll demonstrate that. I just want to show you possible points of interference along the way. The trigger bar assembly here is going to want to sometimes, not always, catch the top of the grip right here, and it'll just get a little tight on you. So just make sure you flex it up a little bit, up and over that trigger bar, and just continue shoving it up. Use the palm of your hand or your fingers. It's no big deal. Now that looks like a nice clean installation, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's not installed all the way. If we look down inside here, I don't know if I'll be able to see this, but right in here you can see that right in there the rubber is not wrapped around the frame. It's sitting on top of it on both sides here. Okay, so that panel down there ought to be close to flush with the frame on the inside. And the area I'm talking about is right here. This is kind of a half dovetail. If you look at it in profile, it's a half dovetail, and there's mating geometry in that frame component, whereas on both sides here it's just flat. It's a 90-degree angle. And so we got it pushed up all the way as far as it'll go. And so what we're going to do is right along this edge, real simply, we're just going to press down with our thumbs and push back and down. So push back and down, and I felt it and I even heard it. And we're going to flip it over again with our thumbs, push back and down. You can kind of feel a little click. It pops right in. And on the top side, we're just going to just pinch it up here a little bit. Use 2 fingers or palm of your hand and just squeeze and pull back, and that's it. And you can see that the well is nice and straight in there. Mag release is straight. And the way we confirm that we got it together is to drop a mag in there. Make sure it's nice and loose. And the last part is put your grip screw in. It'll slide right in. I use mine on the outside here. I'm right-handed, so if you're carrying or something, you know, I don't like the nut on the outside, but it doesn't matter. Keep an eye on my video. See, I'm staying in target. Hate doing these things over again. This is only my second video. So okay, so tighten it down. When we tighten it down, this grip screw is really more decoration and a place to store your screw than it is functional for the grip. I know it has some function, but it's not to keep the grip in place. You can shoot this thing all day long without that screw in there and it won't come off. It just won't. So it's tight. It does not slide around in any direction. And I kept the ease of installation, you know, well, the best I could. And it seems to work out pretty good. You know, you guys and ladies, you got different size hands, you know. So I made this deep cut. You can see the difference between the OEM grip and mine. There's actually a fair amount of real estate inside here. So I was able to capitalize on that and beef it up at the same time, just so we can get the web of our hand as deep in there as possible. We don't want it hanging way back out here. It's not comfortable and it just moves around too much. So everybody's, you know, I got medium-sized hands. Some guys got bigger hands, and this beaver tail, it's probably going to push on the web of your hand a little bit. You know, if you just got oversized hands. I know some guys, I don't know why they force themselves to, you know, brutalize themselves to make this pistol work for them. Their hands are just as big as my head, and you know, it just ain't gonna work for them regardless of what I build. So you know, do the best you can with it, but I've shot this thing deliberately, and I've got a small team of 5 guys, and a couple of those boys got big hands, and this beaver tail, it kind of catches part of the, you know, the web of their hands or the meat up in here, and they shot the heck out of it, and they don't have any issues with abrasion or cutting or anything like that. So obviously the you know, your hand is, the web of your hand is retained well below, you know, the slide. So there's no issues there with ever getting slide bite anymore. The grip is secure. You're really locked in with the finger grips and the beaver tail, and believe it or not, you don't have to squeeze near as hard as you thought you did before. The intimidation factor of shooting the pistol with this grip on there is going to go down exponentially. You'll see what I mean when you shoot it. You know, most of the time, you know, I don't want to say nobody knows how to shoot properly, but, you know, I've had a lot of formal training. And, you know, when I shoot in competition, I've had to learn, you know, relearn how to shoot, because I did not know how to shoot. And, you know, one of the important things is, and especially with this, because I used to be very intimidated with this, even though shooting competition, my CZ, you know, shadows in competition, and I knew how to grip properly. All the grip, almost 80% of the grip, is on my support hand. And there's nothing here on my finger, all the way back here. It's an open cavity. And I was forgetting that with this pistol. And I was gripping it tight as iron. And, you know, my shooting ability just got poor and, you know, shake and all that stuff. You know, but you grip down here, you keep it loose up in here, keep a little cavity up in here, and concentrate the effort on your finger, on your trigger finger. and everything works out just fine. So now let's get this thing off of here. A little bit of a trick involved in that too. I got a little sweaty, I'll wipe it off. Let's get the grip screw off. Oh, let's go ahead and install it. I'll do that real quick on the, oh, I almost forgot. Okay, just to show you that you can release the mag with the OEM mag release. It's still down in a bit of a well. I gave it a little bit of a chamfer around here, a little bit of a lead, but it doesn't have that big old nasty hole down there anymore. I don't believe in following old designs that, you know, were probably done in a hurry. And for whatever reason, they had their own reasons. But this is how it works today. Let's put it on the other grip frame with the extended mag release. Okay, pop that out. Okay, now you can try to pull this off. You think you're going to wiggle and pull this thing off here, it ain't going to come. You have to release it down here first. Pop it out away from the frame. Just a little bit on both sides. Then grip it like you normally would. Just moderately tight. And just start wiggling and twisting a little bit. You can see I'm not giving not a lot of effort because my hands aren't moving around a lot. And just wiggle it on out and it'll slide off. And even though these surfaces are pretty sharp in here, it's not going to tear up this rubber. This stuff's really tough. It's polyurethane elastomer, 85 durometer, Shore A, and it's really tough stuff. Okay. Here's the frame with the extended mag release. Flip it over here so you see what I'm doing. Same deal. Pooch it out a little bit. Slide it on. There's a little bit more interference because the whole assembly is a little bit longer in this direction. So if you have an extended mag release, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But plenty of room. It'll jump past the apex in here is where it touches off, and slide it up on as normal. Pinch and shove, pinch and shove, pinch and pull. Okay. Make sure we're in, nice and clear. There's my screw. Screw back in. And I think I saw my hands move off the video screen. I hope it didn't get too bad. I have to do this thing all over again. Okay, we're nice and secure. Very good. And this is the beauty of the extended mag release. You know, you don't have to, what happened there? Something out of place. No, it's fine. Oh, I guess I cranked down on my grip screw. Don't crank down in your grip screw like it's rigid plastic. Just, I don't know if you can see this. Bring your threads right up to the, you know, just fill the threads. Don't go past it. There's some variation in grip screw length I've seen. I've ordered probably about 80 of these things, grip screw assemblies by now. And there's, you know, a ½ millimeter I've seen variation in length. That's a couple of threads. So just make sure it's nice and loose. Don't crank down on it because it's an elastomer. You'll displace it. You'll squish it together in the middle, and your mag won't enter in and out nice and loose like this does. So, and you can see the beauty of the extended mag release. Wipe your thumb across it, and it just pops right out like it's nothing. And it's the same with my other semi-rigid V04 version 04 grips. So it works real nice. Okay, let's take this apart. Same process. Drop that stuff out, don't lose your parts. Release it up here. And I'll try to extract it. I know I'm pointing the gun at myself. I know it's unloaded. Extract it this way if I can. And you can see it sliding out. Sliding out. And there we go. And we're done. That is it. In comparison, I want to give you a quick comparison of its thickness. I can give you dimensions all day long. It ain't going to mean anything. So if I put this guy back together, and I'll give you a measurement here. I usually work in millimeters for my native units when I'm designing, but I'll do it in inches. It's a little more understandable for some. I'll measure it right over where the grip screw area is here. And this is 1.062. Oops. Well, it's got a relief area in this thing. I'm going to drop it down. 1.075. So just over 1 1/16 inches in that region. And this grip here in that general region is 1.165. So you can see it's a little bit poochier in that section. You know, there's a little bit of palm swell, not near as much as the old version. Here, dare I do it? Yes. Okay, here's the old version. So you can see quite a bit of difference in design. And this was, I got a lot of feedback from you guys, you know. I count on you, feedback from the field. You know, this thing's 1.25 inches thick. You know, and here, down to 1/165, you know, so it took a lot out of it. It's distributed, it's not concentrated, it's nice and rounded, consistent. I fattened up or widened up the back strap area here as well, and did a little bit of work in the finger grips. You know, but that's it overall. It's been a fun project, fun to work with, glad to work with everyone out there. And you gave a lot of feedback what you wanted to see in our next versions. And speaking of next versions, while I'm here, I'll give you a quick wrap up of what I got there. Here's the version 4, BT TR. TR is for thumb rest. And on my carry gun, this is my carry gun right here. It's empty, but ready to rock. I left the springs in it. And I also am testing a new mag floor right here. You can see when I use this pistol, I intuitively, it doesn't matter which mag floor is in there. I don't use the pinky grip, even though I have kind of smaller hands. I intuitively grab it with two finger grip like this, and with that other mag, it is just bothersome. And I also carry it outside waistband in a quick draw holster. And it's just the way I carry it. It feels real nice, and it's right there. It doesn't jump out or anything. But anyway, this extra geometry on here kind of pokes out and whatnot, and my t-shirt or whatever I'm wearing, and you know, I just didn't like it. So I got 2 finger grip. Oh yeah, and also there's a fair gap in here, you know, this offset. And you know, it kind of pinches your fingers sometimes, and it's kind of uncomfortable. And I've seen differences. In fact, I see difference in this one mag here and this one here, and these are not aftermarket either, so you can see quite a bit of difference in this land. You can see that. It's a little distance between here and here, and this one's even sharper. They had looks like a couple different tools they were using, and they molded that. But anyway, it's got a lot of gap here. If I shoot a lot, and I just get pinching on my pinky here, so I'm just more comfortable with my pinky on the bottom, and that's why I made this little stubby mag floor, and I like it. I'm liking it so far, and I built a mold for it. Mess with it. It's still a prototype. It's just painted, and I really enjoy it. I like it. It's a little wider back here, and yeah, good interface. So anyway, so this is the beaver tail version. I've got a smooth side version. This one is actually thinner. This is let's go back to the thickness for a minute. This guy here measures 1 1/16 inches. Okay, so that's pretty close to where we were at on the OEM thickness. So that'll give you an idea. But mine are not that thick back here in the tail, okay, in the butt. Mine are narrower. Again, my focus on these was discreet carry. It conceals a lot better when it's tapered back here. I kept it fat up here, you know, where you need it, where the web of your hand is. But down here, you know, it's the force of the recoil isn't down there. It's up here, in line with your hand. So this narrow version, this is really narrow. Not everybody's going to want this thing, but it's cool. I love shooting it. I like shooting. This is my favorite. It's my carry, like I said, and I can actually shoot the rigid or the semi-rigid grip a lot longer, a lot more comfortable, you know, than the rubber one. Believe it or not, I think I just shot it a lot longer, and I changed my shooting style or my grip style, and I just enjoy it. It's not a big deal to me anymore. I rapid fire on a regular basis, and the deal is I don't shoot at more than 7 yards with this thing. There's no reason for me to do that as a carry weapon anyway, and I typically shoot at 5 when I'm testing grips. You know, I go through dozens of grips or dozens of mags, and I rapid fire everything, just make sure everything's running fine and I'm not breaking the grips, and you know, I just get the job done. And I don't think that there's anything exceptional about the way I'm holding it or my hand structure or anything, but I have learned from others, you know, a better way of gripping this pistol and other pistols for that matter. So this is a thinner grip here, and .977, okay, 975, .98, and it's pretty skinny, but pretty discreet. But it's not flat on the sides. It's still slightly rounded and tapered. And again, but with this one here, you have to shorten your grip screw. Okay, you can see that sticking out there a little bit. And you're going to have to just grind it by eye. I'm not going to give you a dimension. Well, yeah, it's around 23 millimeters total length, but grind it yourself to your own satisfaction. As with the rubber grip, these plastic semi-rigid grips, don't over tighten them. You know, it's not part of the real retention feature. This, of course, you know, of keeping these grips on. These grips slide on just like this. You have to slide them on straight. You can't go in on an angle, and it ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work this way. Absolutely parallel, because they have the same locking features down at the bottom. I'll do a video dedicated to the version 4 later on. But you might be alarmed that this thing slides on so easy. I tell you what, without the grip screw, I spent a lot of time making a one-to-one relationship with the frame and the internal geometry, so this thing doesn't move around at all. And the grip screw, of course, keeps it in place, you know, keeps from sliding back. But it's tight, 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 and won't come off. And I made it, you know, as easy as possible, you know, to work with, getting on and off. Sometimes you'll have to, I can feel it right now, it'll stop on the trigger bar, and you just get your little fingernails under here and just flex it up a little bit and continue pulling back just to jump over this part of the trigger bar. Yeah, but that's it. We'll get into a detailed discussion about the version 4 later on. But yeah, it's my grip of choice these days. But you're gonna be shooting at the range. You know, a lot of guys don't carry these things. They just want a little more comfort at the range. You know, if you can only have one, you know, it's like I always said, the version 5 BT is the one to have. It gets the job done. You're not going to come home bloody like we used to in the past. So put that guy back on there. See, it's just that easy. Pinch, pinch, pull, squeeze. Snug up your screw. All right. Just enough. All right. That's it. It's ready to rock. Got some other videos coming out, and well, I think that's it for now. Appreciate all your support and your feedback and help me develop these things. I got some more fun stuff coming out. My website, like I said, will be up and running soon. So flip that over for one last look. And thanks for watching. We'll be back soon.